Kubota tractor today with the batwing mower, and it's time we mow off some fields. We need to get ready for winter wheat planting. Unfortunately, there are 2 cornfields that we have to mow off. Reason being, they just did not do so well, and it's not worth running the combine in it at all. And we had a lot of, I would say deer pressure, but I think the one field for sure is squirrel pressure, believe it or not. And they pretty much robbed all the ears. So the first field we're going to be dealing with here is right next to Mom and Dad's, and this is where we basically mowed all this off anyway. We had a patch down there as well, so I only have a little strip here left, and I basically just left it kind of to see what would happen, let it for the wildlife, I guess. But now we need to get ready to plant the winter wheat, so I need to mow this all off and get ready for that. So we have this field to mow off, and then we have another patch and a couple areas that we want to mow off and get prepped for our wheat. So we're going to start here, get this mowed off quick, then we'll move to the next and keep going right down the line. There are 2 field areas that I would just want to mow because there's nothing really going to be planted in there. The one has a steep slope, and I just don't know how keen I am running the combine on that slope in the summer, or any time for that matter, just because of the kind of the hill. Now if I had a side hill combine, that'd be a little bit better, but I got to get used to maybe running on some hills before I even try that. And it's not a terrible big steep hill, but it's just enough that I think it would make me uneasy. So we'll just mow that off, and hopefully we can get some hay out of that in the summer. So I'll get this unfolded, we'll get going, and we'll get this mowed off pretty quick because it's very small. Pretty quick work out of that. Batwing makes things quick. I did test the corn yesterday with a moisture tester, and we're running about anywhere from 22 to 23%. So if I want to do high moisture corn, we probably could harvest it right now. I'm just going to try and give it a little bit more time. They do want warm this week, probably in like the 70s, close to 80 here in a couple days. So we're just going to give it a little bit more time and see what happens with it. Right here's one of the fields that we do have. It's definitely drying down. You can see the plants pretty much do not have any green left in them. This one really got hit hard with animal pressure. This whole back half pretty much has no ears hanging anywhere. So the field that we're going up to up here is pretty much on about a 1 acre plot, I would say, give or take. Here on the end rows, we do have, I'd say, a decent amount of ears hanging, and I'll show you that here once we get up. So we probably won't cut this. Whether or not we're going to bring the combine up here or just kind of pick it by hand, I don't know, because I do want to get wheat planted up here, and I need to get this kind of to the point where we're ready to go with it. So pretty much, I'd say at least 4 rows, there might be 8 rows, 2 planter passes that does have corn, but pretty much down through there and going up through, it's looking pretty decent. But everything out through here, it just does not pay to bring the combine up here. It doesn't pay to waste the time or the fuel to do it. This is where we had the potatoes, and we actually had corn right up to it. The weeds and foxtail just really, they took it hard. And it pretty much, we sprayed late, so we didn't get our herbicide in here quick enough and early enough, and it just didn't, it worked a little, but just not how it should have. There's nothing on here. The plants are in terrible shape. Even coming out here to the taller things. I mean, right there's an ear, but that's kind of what you're left with. So there are a few out here. For the most part, there isn't anything. You'll find one ear like maybe every 30, 40 plants if you're lucky. Here's another one, different row, but they're really small. So it just doesn't pay to try and run the combine up through here. So yeah, it's just not really worth it to me. Over here's a little bit of the taller stuff. Now here we do same thing. The ears are really small. So the biggest problem we're going to run into is, like, for instance here, where you do have one hanging, it just fell, but look how close it's hanging from the ground. This is where it was. To get a corn head to try and pick that up is going to be a little bit of a challenge. So I'm pretty certain that pretty much everything here is going to end up getting cut. Now here are the end rows where the spray actually did take a little bit of hold. And this is a little bit different of a story. Still not the best, but it's definitely a lot better. There's ears on almost all them plants right there. And a lot better size ears too. So we're gonna let all these end rows for sure. It's pretty much all the rows going that way. So I think we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so we did 2 planter passes on the outside for our headlands. So we're gonna let those, and we're probably gonna end up taking everything else. Right in here's actually some too, so we might cut up a little bit further. And like I said, I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna bring the combine up here or not, or pick it by hand. Judging by how much actually is down in there, I think we'll probably run the combine up here, just for the simple fact we are gonna have the combine down there. But for everything up through there, it just really doesn't pay. a shame I have to do this, but you know, we got to try and just get better every year. That's all I can do. There was definitely more ears kind of right in here, and any of them that I do find really easy and simple and quick, we'll pick them up. Salvage a little bit of what we can. Majority of them were just really small, but there it is. Did I say this is a shame already? Because it's a shame. But hey, you know, it is what it is. We just got to look forward to the next years and try and do better and learn from it. And I think I've definitely learned a lot this year, so, you know, I can be thankful for just everything that I have learned along the way, the processes, things I've done wrong. So I can't honestly really complain that much. There, not a complete waste. We're on to the next one here, which is right above the barn and the goat pastures. I cut this, I think, first cutting for hay, but the second cutting came around and the window's dirty here, but it was a majority of just weeds. This was not good hay at all, so we left it stand and we only cut out past it further just because it really wasn't good. Quick work of this field, and this is the field I was talking about that's sloped. The camera really doesn't make it look bad, but it's definitely got a slope to it. It's making me lean in the tractor pretty good, so it's kind of why I'm a little sketch. There you can kind of see it a little bit better. That's why I'm a little nervous about putting the combine up there. So at least for right now, I'm thinking we might have took care of all the weeds, and maybe next year, at least in the spring, the grass shouldn't die, so it should at least produce a nice hay field for at least first cutting again. Now we're gonna move on to, I did get some hay here, but there's a lot of uneven areas, so I think even some of that down there, we might plant sweet corn in that, but a lot of this here, it's just so uneven that I think it really just needs disked up or plowed up, one of the two. There's a big trench here. So this field here is going to end up being wheat. That field there, I'm not exactly sure. We might do sweet corn in it. I don't know if we're going to do the entire thing, but I got to figure that out and see exactly where I want to do the sweet corn for next year, because clearly it didn't work in the garden. So that's something I got to figure out, and figure out how much I want to do. This field isn't really tall as is, but I'm just going to knock it down. We did cut this for second cutting right here. Out here's where it got really bad, so. As you can see, there's a lot of weeds in here. Grass really never grew. First cutting was great, second cutting not so much. Big bump. We're just gonna mow all this off right away. Some of this had a little bit of clumps going on. I might have to raise this up. Yep. Some of this this is gonna be that furrow and the clumps from when it was disked and plowed. Never actually got smoothed out, so this is gonna be a tad bumpy. Something's weird with this mower too. I don't know if it's the cylinder in the back right there, but when you push this lever forward, it like locks up. You have to like raise it and ease on the lowering control, and then it'll lower. So something's screwy, whether it's the hose, I'm not sure what it is. Well, I think I'm done mowing. I needed to mow this field, which nothing's really going in here, at least not at the moment. This was just getting high, so I wanted to mow this off. We mowed everything up there and over at that end. Up at Mom and Dad's, we mowed that cornfield, and then we mowed the 1 acre patch up top. I'm pretty sure that's everything. I really would like to plant some wheat in the rest of the cornfields, but it's all going to come into play is when we can harvest and how quick, I guess, we get it harvested and get it off to where we can prep the fields, because once corn harvest starts, it's pretty much going to be go time for the most part. So we're not really going to be able to stop and plant wheat, I guess. I mean, we could, but I guess the biggest thing is now is we do have a field ready. We could plant at the acre patch up there on top, and we could plant the field at Mom and Dad's, and that would get us started, get us rolling, because corn harvest is a little bit out yet, so we don't want to have to plant all our wheat in one shot. That would definitely not be good. So I got to figure out where I want to start. Mom and Dad's, next to them, is the rockiest field on the farm. I don't know what's going to be best doing for that. I don't know if plowing that's going to be best. Disking it's just not going to really work because it's so rocky, it doesn't dig in. These fields down here, however, there are some rocks, but I do think we're going to be able to disc this on a very aggressive setting rather than plow it. So we may try and do that. I need to figure out where we're gonna plant our wheat yet, and then we can decide basically from there to what we're gonna do with sweet corn next year. At least that's the plan for there. So over there, we're not doing anything. As I said, probably let that just grow back into hay. So yeah, I got a lot of planning, a lot of figuring out of what I'm gonna do, and potentially we could be harvesting corn within the next couple weeks. That would be very nice. We do have a stretch of nice weather for like the next 10 days where it's gonna be like this, sunny, blue sky. So hopefully that continues and we can get wheat in the ground and we can get corn out of the ground, I guess. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Be sure to drop a like, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel. It definitely helps me out. And I'll see you next time.